Welcome to Tusks and Tales, where real hog dogs, real dog men and women, and real stories come together. This podcast is built around hard hunting dogs, family values, and the community that lives this lifestyle every single day. Tusks and Tales is proudly supported by brands and people who don't just sell products, they live this life. Let's start out with Value Pack Performance Dog Feed. It keeps our kennel fueled and ready. Consistent nutrition that helps dogs recover fast, hunt longer, and stay healthy doing what they love. If you're looking to switch feeds up or step your dogs up, reach out to me and let's get you the performance feeds you need at a price you can afford. Next up, we got Southern Bayou Farm Feed and Supply. It is owned by Mr. Ritchie. It is your go-to feed store in Southeast Texas, specifically Vidor, Texas. They carry dog care products along with plenty of feed options for working dogs and livestock. Good people and a business worth supporting. J Bark Dog Supply, owned by Mr. Brandon Jackson, provides purpose-built gear for hard-running dogs from collars to everyday essentials. This is equipment made by someone who understands what dogs go through in the woods. 2B Hog Dogs, one of my best, run by brothers, Mr. Kenneth Smith and Tequil Smith. They're built on their passion, their grit, and their heart. They truly love the hunt, and they also own some jam-up dogs. The next up we got an important one, y'all. TheBestDogProducts.com. It is owned by Dave Critchlow. Focuses on what matters most, keeping dogs healthy from wormers to full-spectrum parasite control. They help make sure dogs are ready when it's time to cut loose. You can use our discount code TNT. Next up, we got Dirty South Calls. That is owned by Mr. Hunter Ledger, one of the beginning supporters, and we can't thank him enough. He delivers proven calls made for hunters who want results, not gimmicks. When sound matters, these calls flat out work. One of our biggest supporters from day one. Y'all give it up for old Boars and Broads, owned by Mr. Ryan Rankin and Mr. Carter Schultz. It is the biggest merchandise dealer in the hog hunting industry, bringing quality gear and apparel to people who live this lifestyle. Save money with our discount code TNT. Next up, we got Hog Turtle Headlamps, designed by hunters for hunters. Keep you and your dog visible and safe when the sun goes down and the real work begins. This is Tusks and Tales. Stories from the woods, respect for the dogs, and a lifestyle we're proud to live.
$50 megs per kg for we'll do 50 megs. Hold on. I'm gonna put you on hold for a second here.
No, that's all right.
Okay. Okay, yep. So your pyrantel is going to be 1 mil per 10 pounds. So you're going to give quite a lot. Your panicure is going to be 1 mil per 10 pounds. And your panicure is going to be 0.1 per 10 pounds.
Okay.
And your praziquantel. Your praziquantel is going to be 5 milligrams per pound.
5 milligrams?
5 milligrams per pound.
Okay.
So it just depends on how the praziquantel comes. So praziquantel can come in a liquid as an injectable. It can come in a tablet form. So if it's a tablet, it's going to be 1 tablet per 10 pounds.
Okay.
So it honestly, it depends on your formulation. So you're going to have to look at it.
What is sorry, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank, but a milligram to a cc?
A milligram to the...
Or to a milliliter, an ml.
Going from a mig to a mil?
Yes, ma'am.
Mig to a mil, let's see.
Because that's how pretty much everybody down here is measuring by an ml or a cc. You know, so I guess a cc and an ml are the same thing, if I remember correctly.
Yes, a cc and an ml are the same thing. So you're asking how to go from a milligram to a mil?
Yes, if we could just do those measurements in an ml, if possible, or, you know, maybe a tenth of a cc or a tenth of an ml, whatever, just so we're very clear, so people will...
I see what you're saying, because that's confusing for you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's do this. We'll look at we'll look up the praziquantel injectable bottle, and I will let you know.
And is all this oral, sub-Q, or...
No. So if it's praziquantel comes in as a tablet form, so the tablet is going to be 1 tablet per 10 pounds.
Okay.
Okay. Then it comes in as an injectable form, which your injectable form, I'm going to give you that dose, because that is what I was saying is going to be 5 milligrams, and that's what we were just talking about. We need to clarify, because I don't want that to be confusing for you.
Yes, and and that's going to be in the muscle or sub-Q?
That's going to be sub-Q.
Okay, so under the skin,
the
y'all.
injectable's going to be sub-Q.
Yeah, so everybody that's not aware of what sub-Q is, and I'm sure she can correct me if I'm wrong, but do it behind, like in between the shoulder blades, above the skin, not in the muscle.
Yeah, I would do that. So that's the place where you have the most loose skin, because you don't want to do it in the muscle. If you put this in the muscle, you're going to create an abscess.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. I'm trying to find an easy way for you to do this.
And is there a liquid form by chance that they can do oral praziquantel? I mean, I know there's
the only liquid. No, there isn't a liquid. The only oral forms of praziquantel are going to be in like HeartGuard Plus, Interceptor Plus. They're going to be in the monthly preventions. Unfortunately, there isn't a liquid that you can put, that you can give them orally. But that would be great if you had something like that, but there isn't.
So none of those paste, like the horse paste that say praziquantel don't?
I don't know, babe. Is there a horse paste for praziquantel?
There is.
Okay, he said there is a paste. I don't know how the dosing of that is, though.
It's in a paste. That's the problem, because it's a.
I know, that's the problem.
Yes, that's for your tapeworms.
I know.
I honestly, I mean, and there's probably something, Alan, that we should consider. If there's any open questions, or we're trying to kind of maybe put things together, and not that everybody can't, Google or Dr. ChatGPT it themselves, but and use their best judgment. I mean, we can definitely try and come up with a couple formulas.
Okay.
The one thing I will have to say, and this is more or less a legal statement I have to make, is I'm not licensed in the state of Texas, right? I'm licensed in a couple other states, but that doesn't matter. Meaning if somebody says, well, Alan Adams and Dr. Tim, they cooked this up and they put it on their page and now I did this and for some reason my dog's not doing well, I mean, I would have to make that legal disclaimer. This is everybody's own personal risk. And, if we're trying to do things that are not within the intended use, somebody wants to get their hands on some equine dewormers or cattle dewormers and use them out of the realm of the recommendations of the manufacturer. I mean, this is not at your risk or mine. I mean, there is obviously canine approved, purpose intended medications. And if somebody wants to use something else and we say, hey, this is the dosage, and however you come to that dosage and however you can calculate it out, do it at your own risk. I mean, that's just, I want to say this for your protection as well, right?
Yes, sir.
We want to help everybody and we want to keep everybody's dogs healthy and healthier, but not putting your name or mine in a position where in the end somebody says, well, they said we can do this and no, my dog's not doing well. Yeah.
So
sorry, and I didn't mean to interrupt, but
it's pretty much, you're at your own risk. This is just regular conversation going on.
Which everybody's already doing that, right? I mean, yeah. I'm fully aware of that. Everybody is cooking up their own home remedies, and that's not saying that in a bad light, but the moment that you or I say it, or we're trying to help with formulas, hey, this is your dosage calculation, the moment the first thing goes wrong. In equine medicine, we have this joke, whoever touched it last, his fault it is, I mean, the last one that touches the racehorse before it wins the Kentucky Derby, well, it was you, but you're the last one that touches it before it colics and dies. Well, it was you too. Whether you gave it a vaccine or you looked at its teeth doesn't matter. And it's kind of the same thing here. I just don't want to put you in a position or myself in a position where somebody says, well, they're at fault. We're trying to help, guys. I mean, that's what I'm wanting to point out.
Yes, sir. We're
trying to help everybody to make it go around. And if you got one dog in your house or 50 on your yard, there is a bit of a difference. We understand. We don't want to make this the high horse conversation where if you don't use this by this manufacturer, you're not doing it right. No, Grandpa had a lot of dogs survive and did it well, and so did everybody else between here and Moscow and Siberia and back. It doesn't have to always be the Cadillac version or else, but sometimes if you're trying to do it a lesser version and something happens, there is a chance maybe you miscalculated, right? And it's really, really, really hard to kill a dog with a dewormer. I'm going to point this out. I mean, it's near impossible to kill a dog with a dewormer. And this goes back to your question you had, over or under deworming. I mean, look at the world over COVID-19, right? Ivermectin cured cancer. And I'm not saying this to ridicule it. I mean, I'm fairly certain that there is positive side effects that go well beyond, parasitic or anti-parasitic. But what I'm getting at is more than ever, the positives of these medications have been pointed out to the extreme and back. And it's really, really, really hard to do harm with these medications, especially in our breeds. Now, if you have a collie in your yard or
long-haired dog
or a collie cross, there are certain metabolic sensitivities, let's put it that way, in certain breeds where, yes, with ivermectin, you can do real harm in these dogs. But for most of the breeds that I think we're all running, it's really, really, really hard to do damage with praziquantel, fenbendazole, even ivermectin, if you make a calculation mistake. But the moment you dabble in the cattle formulas or in the horse formulations, you may very quickly have a factor 10 or a factor 50 in there where you do your decimal points wrong. Your overdose is not going to be times and a half. It's going to be times 15, So, I mean, yes, in those moments, there's maybe a little bit of a risk. But again, in our breeds, I think the safety buffer is pretty high.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. I do. I just want to make sure, Mr. Tim made sure right there. That's a good disclaimer. So,
Add the praziquantel doses for that.
But yeah, and Jesse just obviously pulled up a couple doses, and I'm not sure if you all talked about doses that you want to share, but maybe we can almost put like a little general PowerPoint together of general dosages and regimes and protocols.
I got to give credit where credit is due, y'all. Just give me 1 minute here before we keep rolling. I want to give a quick shout out to the people who help keep Tusks and Tails going. First off, y'all know Value Pack Performance Dog Feed. It keeps our dogs fueled to hunt hard and recover right. If you're needing to switch feeds or want better performance without breaking the bank, reach out to me and I'll help get you set up with the feeds your dogs need. If you reach out to me, I can even get you it for a price that you can definitely afford. Next up, man, we got J. Bart Dog Supply, Mr. Brandon Jackson. Y'all cannot beat his prices, I promise. Solid gear for real working dogs. If your dogs are in the woods, this is equipment built right to handle it. Man, one of my favorite day ones, Mr. Kenneth and Tequil Smith with 2B Hog Dogs. 2 brothers, 1 passion, and some jam-up dogs. Real deal people doing it right, and that's for damn sure. Them are some good people, y'all. Let them know you heard them. Next up is an important one, a very important one, y'all. You want to keep your dogs healthy, we got the bestdogproducts.com for wormers and parasite control, because a healthy dog is a hunting dog. Next up, we got a good buddy of mine, old Mr. Hunter Ledger. He works a little bit of both sides, the duck side and the hog side, but he runs Dirty South calls. There's no gimmicks, just calls that work when it matters. Man, another big supporter of mine that I can't thank them enough is Mr. Ryan Rankin and Carter Schultz with Boars and Broads. They're the biggest hog hunt merchandise dealer, bringing quality gear and apparel to the people who live this lifestyle. Y'all gotta go reach out to them. Don't forget to use that TNT discount. Last but not least, Hog Turtle headlamps built by hunters for hunters, keeping you and your dogs visible when the sun goes down. Thanks for taking this minute with me, y'all. Let's get back to it, but please do not forget to reach out to one of them and let you know you heard from us.
PowerPoint together of general dosages and regimes and protocols of what could be, should be the standard, and then how everybody sees fit to deviate from that to make it go around and work it in. Everybody needs to decide what's for them and not, but we can maybe put something together by the weekend or so, and you can post it at the end of the YouTube, or obviously whatever way, shape, or form. You can put in a couple almost like PowerPoint slides with tables and formulas that everybody can go back to and say, oh, let me pull it from there.
Yes. That would be much appreciated. I mean, if we could just, touch on them a little bit, like she, just a little bit of the doses, and then we can move on from that subject if and then we can produce that later if that's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna quickly hand it over. I'm going to let you need the phone going back.
Okay, hey, Alan.
Hey, how are you?
Okay, so for the praziquantel injectable, if the dogs are 5 pounds and under, you're going to...
There is no 5 pounds and under.
What? If they're puppies.
Okay.
Just, let's go with this, okay? 5 pounds and under, 0.3 cc's. Again, this is all sub-Q with the praziquantel. This is the injectable, obviously. 6 to 10 pounds is 0.5 cc's. 11 to 25 pounds is 1 cc. Over 25 pounds, 0.2 cc's per 5 pounds.
Okay, well that answers that one on the praziquantel. And what's that all gonna cover? What worms is that all gonna cover?
That is only praziquantel is strictly for tapeworms.
Okay, and if you have the flea, we'll go into fleas next. Okay, so next is whipworms, tapeworms, pinworm, whichever one you want to hit next.
So your whipworms, whipworms are going to be covered by fenbendazole.
Okay.
So your Panicure.
Yep.
And so remember, hookworms, roundworms are going to be covered by your fenbendazole and your Pyrantel.
Okay.
Tapeworms are covered by, and again, when I'm saying covered, meaning prevented and treated by. So all your preventions are going to get them, well, not all of them. We'd have to go through them. But let's say most of the monthly heartworm preventions are going to prevent them and then be treated by. But if we're just talking about the Pyrantel and the fenbendazole, hookworms and roundworms are going to be treated by Pyrantel and fenbendazole. Tapeworms, praziquantel. Whipworms, fenbendazole. Pinworms, fenbendazole. Heartworms are going to be prevented by ivermectin, milbemycin, and moxidectin.
Okay. So then on the dosage amount of the Pyrantel, did you have that by chance?
That is going to be a mil per 10 pounds.
1 ml per 10 pounds?
Yes.
Okay, and then the fenbendazole.
Your fenbendazole, I know, we need things in pounds for them.
Okay.
I know. The two of them, we're like, we don't do things.
Alan, when Jesse gets to the dose, I'm going to tell you a funny anecdote, right? We have water damage, head water damage. So I'm going to buy floor, right? Flooring in America, okay? It's hardwood floor I'm trying to buy, okay? And I'm at Lowe's, okay? I'm talking about systems and decimal versus American, right? I'm going to put this out here as a funny little, put this with the bed bugs, right? I mean, put this story with the bed bugs. So I've got a picture of it. I'm standing at Lowe's, and there's floor thickness or height, and it's the same manufacturer, and it's the same type of engineered boards. And I'm there, and I'm looking at the different types, and there's 5/9 of an inch. There's 0.74 of an inch, and there is 8 millimeters, and then there is fractions of an inch, and they're all different from the same manufacturer. And I'm standing there, and I'm calculating the inch is 25 millimeters. In the fractions, or the points of it, decimal. A decimal part of an inch, right? You get the sense of it, right? I mean, talking about dosage of medications, I mean... Anyhow, back to Jess.
Okay.
So much for that. But it would make more sense if all in the world came together and we all used the same system, right?
Yeah.
But I guess what would also make sense if we kind of maybe make a table of like your common standard parasites that you're trying to treat. And then basically the most common denominator is this. This is only going to be covered by that. Versus that's only going to be covered by this. And I think your outliers are really going to be your heartworms, and your outliers are going to be your tapeworms, because those are only going to be covered by either your praziquantel or your ivermectin, and then everything in between is going to be covered cross, if you will, meaning everybody can kind of pick their, this is going to be my biggest common denominator, that's what I'm going to want to use, versus, I'm going to add this on maybe every 3 months, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And so that way everybody can kind of come up with their own, this works best for me versus this works best for me. This is something I've had a problem with. And, keep in mind, tapeworms, not super common over here, foxes, coyotes, but even your raccoons, if you get in contact with it, or if your dogs get in contact with them, tapeworms is one of the most detrimental if you want to talk about zoonotic diseases, because, we always talk about dog health. But then there's also, us, and then there's maybe kids. And with your tapeworms, if you have crossover infectious risk by foxes, echinococcus is a pretty nasty disease that by the time you catch it in people, I'm not saying it's too late, but you'll have these vesicle or blast-like parasitic lesions, in your lungs, in your diaphragm, in your muscle, in your echinococcus, the tapeworm that you can get from foxes or dogs can transmit from foxes. Your dog doesn't have to be sick, but it can transmit echinococcus to us, to our kids, in the yard, So tapeworms, keep that in mind. It's one of those few ones that you can actually contract via your dog from wildlife out there. So tapeworms being treated and covered properly is a subset, and it's maybe a little bit the zebra in the yard, but when you have it, it's nasty. Or it can be nasty and it can be dangerous, not just for us as adults by choice, but also for everybody else that we expose via our dogs. Keep that in mind. Pregnant women, like tapeworms are not to be messed with or not to be forgotten about. If somebody says, I want the common denominator and I'm going to leave that one by the wayside, well, it may make sense to do that once quarterly, just so you have it covered.
Okay, yeah. No, that, I like that you informed everybody of that a lot.
Well, back to Jesse.
Okay.
Okay. Great that he told that story.
Yes.
Okay. So, your dose is going to be 1 ml per 2.2 pounds. That's for the liquid suspension.
Okay. So
that covers your preventative or your treatments, preventatives, whatever you want to call them.
Okay. So I think we covered majority of the wormers, right?
Yeah. And like Tim said, if you want, we can send you some sort of a table.
Yeah. Oh, if y'all could,
that would be helpful.
Yeah, that would be awesome if you
something
could.
Together for you, a bit more, formal.
Yeah, I would most definitely highly appreciate that, and then I could, if somebody really reaches out and they want to know more in detail, I could forward it to them, y'all. They're welcome to. Okay, so then let's jump on. It's gonna get easier now. I know that's a very, very, it's very hard to get worming and internal parasites is a very touchy subject. It's hard to get into all that, but okay. So next, fleas, ticks, and mosquitoes. I know there's I'm saying Bravecto as a we know all that, but is there anything you could treat your yard with? Can you kind of talk about them in the best ways to really prevent them? If there's cheaper routes, as in you can go spray mint on your yard or what? I mean, is there any advice you can give on that? If not, just tell everybody, look, here's what it needs to be.
Regarding the fleas and the ticks?
Fleas and ticks, yeah. Like, what actually works for flea and tick prevention? Of course, these are dogs outside every day. Maybe if there's some cheaper store products that will, help out. Is there any home remedies that you can put together? And then most definitely, like, kennel maintenance, keeping flea or mosquitoes. Like off-ground kennels, mosquitoes are hell down here. If there's a way to really keep them prevented, or what kind of ideas you got there?
Well, I can tell you the first thing that I always tell clients is you can't prevent what your neighbors are doing. Because honestly, as much as you try to prevent things in your yard or your perimeter, if your neighbor's cats are flea infested and they're coming into your area, they're going to bring them into your yard, and they're going to get on your dog. And if your dog is not adequately prevented or has the preventative on them, then you're going to constantly have problems. So as much as you do to prepare your area, if your neighbor doesn't do it either, then you're going to constantly be fighting a problem. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't, prevent your perimeter or your pet, but it's going to make it really difficult if everybody in your area isn't. So it's going to be a constant battle for you.
Okay.
What works outside, obviously for mosquitoes, is going to be the permethrins, but you have to be really careful because, they're highly toxic at high doses. So you have to use them at very low concentrations when you're spraying the perimeter. And you have to, I think a lot of people don't read the instructions and look at the dilutions. It's a very, very small percentage of the product that you have to use that's diluted in, per gallon of water. I don't know the dilution off the top of my head, but it's really minute. You think, I need to put a whole bunch of this product in. And by the way, these are large animal products that you're using. It's not, it's not that you're using a pyrethrin that is specific for small animal. So these are large animal products that you're purchasing as perimeter treatments or preventatives. So I definitely would, spray the area, because we do as well. We spray for the mosquitoes and the horseflies, which are, pretty bad out in the summertime and in the fall. Then you obviously want to put some sort of preventative on the dogs, whether you're doing something topical. And I don't know how detailed you want to get into types of preventatives. I can tell you the things that don't work. Unfortunately, Frontline used to be great, but Frontline the fleas and ticks have developed a resistance to Frontline. So unfortunately, Frontline is just a product that is not effective anymore. But there are topical products that you can use as preventatives. There are a lot of good oral products on the market for fleas and ticks.
Can you just name a few of the inexpensive ones? The ones that,
ones.
I know it's going to be hard, but, okay, so let me give you an example. Let me ask you this. You mentioned that collar. You said it was, and I know you're probably going to say, no, that's not possible, but if it is, is there any way a gentleman could buy one? You said they're around $60, correct?
Yeah. Honestly, personally, I feel like that is the best option.
And
that's terms of cost.
Okay,
but that's your biggest bang for your buck is the Seresto collar.
Could a gentleman buy one and cut it in? I know you're going to probably say no, but could they potentially cut it in 6 individual pieces? And I'm just, like I said, I'm looking for a budget-friendly deal.
It's not that long.
Okay.
There's definitely extra length to it because you have to cut it to fit the dog's neck. But let's say that you had a puppy and you bought a large collar, you probably could get 2 puppies with the large collar.
And keep in mind, a lot of the lots, a dog like Newt, for example, versus a dog like Fritz, I very much think you could probably take Fritz's collar and make one for 2 Newts, right? If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. If we could potentially, zip tie it to their existing collar, because I'm going to be honest, a lot of people are using they're using cattle tags. I mean, it's that simple. And I've personally tried them, and they're not effective. I've tried everything under the sun when it comes to a cattle tag on fly prevention and everything like that. That's why I'm very curious if something, you, for example, like you just said, 9 months,
Nine months,
$60. If I could split that in two and put one, like Dr. Tim just said, put one on Newt and one on Kate, that's $30 per dog for 9 months. That's an astronomical saving.
Absolutely.
I mean, do you think though that would be effective, or?
Yes, absolutely. It has to go around the entire neck, though. It can't be like a piece.
Okay.
But as long as you've got it on like a collar, completely around
That's going to wrap it up for this episode of Tusks and Tails. We really appreciate every single one of y'all that tunes in, supports the show, and supports the people and dogs that make this lifestyle. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you like it, share it, and leave a review. I know that gets boring, y'all. To hear that from every single podcast, I don't care. Reach out, say, Alan, your dogs suck. Leave a comment like that. Follow us on every single social media platform. Talk crap to me. I don't care, y'all. But I want some feedback. Let me know what I'm doing wrong so I can make it better for all of y'all. But until next time, hunt hard, take care of your dogs, and never forget about what it is really about. This is Tusks and Tails. We'll see y'all in the woods. Love every one of y'all.